Okay, Lab 13 is about implementing and testing a conditional access policy. This is going to be one of the important topics, so we will probably spend some more time in it. So the task one in this is confirm Deborah B has access to Sway. So Sway is an application and Deborah is one of the dummy users here in this Contoso marketing tenant. So if I remember correctly, Deborah will not be able to access Sway application. She will be able to access everything else like Word, Teams, Outlook, but not Sway. So I'll just open Word for now, and if I open all apps and if I find Sway in here, and if I open Sway, it says you do not have access to this. Your sign-in was successful but do not have access to this permission, because I've already enabled the conditional access policy which denies Deborah of accessing Sway. So I'll just wait until Word's open, then we will probably apply this policy to one more user, or maybe create a brand new policy just to test it out. So I'm just going to cancel that, and let's go have a look at our users, and we will select one of the users to apply this policy to. So we can see that Johnny Sherman is one of the users. So we will apply the conditional policy to Johnny Sherman now. So before we do that, let's just check if Johnny is able to access Sway or not. Okay, so she is able to access Sway. So I'm going to cancel this window here, and we will create a new conditional policy, and we will apply that so that she cannot access Sway. And that was task 1. In task 2, we will be creating the conditional access policy. So we will go to Microsoft Entra ID homepage. Under Entra ID, we will click on conditional access. At the top, we will create a new policy. And then we will name it something descriptive like then we will select the user. So we'll click on this, select users, users and groups. I'm going to search Johnny's name, select, then under conditions we'll click on target resource, then under select resource, in the select tab here which says none, I'll just click on it and we will find Sway here. Click on this, select, then we'll go on access control, we will click on 0 control selected, then we will block the access, then we will select yes, and enable policy is going to be on, and we will create the policy. And that was the end of task 2. In task 3, we will be checking if the conditional access policy is working or not. So if I remember that correctly, I think it's going to take about 3 to 4 minutes for the policy to take place. So I'm just going to try anyway. If it doesn't work, then I'm going to pause the video and continue when the changes have taken place. So the access is still here. I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to resume when the access has been blocked. So that took about 4 to 5 minutes, and when I reload it again, it says you do not have access to this. Your sign-in was successful, but the permission to this resource was denied. So this is how the conditional access policy work. And that's the end of task 3. Exercise 2, we will be checking what if conditional access policy. So I'll just minimize this for now. And if I go into conditional access policy, and if I go into the overview page here, and if I go into policies just right below the overview, we have this option here which is called as what if. So this is a really interesting option, so I'll just click on it and I'll show you. So if I select Johnny S, and in the cloud apps I'll select Sway, and I will have to select the platform and the client app, and if I select search what if, so what it's going to do is it's going to see that what if Joni Sherman tries to access Sway on a Windows platform with the browser, what's going to happen, and is going to say that the access is going to be blocked, and it's going to show us which policy is blocking the access. This is really helpful if a user complains to you that they cannot access certain things, and instead of going into every single policy trying to check what is blocking the access, you can just go into what if and just enter the details here, and this is going to show you what is blocking the policy or what is allowing it. So the policy that will apply is going to be this one here, and if I select this policy, that will not apply, so that's going to show me all the policies which is not going to apply for what we have written here. So it's a really handy, really powerful option here which can come. So in exercise 3, we will be configuring a sign-in frequency policy, sign-in frequency control, using a conditional access policy. So we will be checking how many times a user is signing in, or some similar to that, I think. So let's get started with this activity. So for that, we will have to go to Microsoft Entra. Then we are going to click on conditional access. Then we are going to click create a new policy from the top here. We will create a descriptive name, something like sign-in policy, and we are going to select a user. So it's always a good practice, best practice, to apply whatever policy you are creating to certain users first before applying it to all the users. So this time we will only be selecting one user at a time, so just to test on it. So if I select Fatty F, then the target is going to be Office 365. Under access control, we will select session. Then we will click on the sign-in frequency here. We will click on this, and we will enter 30, and we'll select days, and we are going to select OK for that. And in the enable policy, we are going to select report only, and then we are going to create it. So this way, this policy is going to tell us how many times the user have logged in. And with this, the labs comes to an end, and I will see you in the next lab.